explaining the beginning after the end power system. I'm gonna be splitting it into two parts. This video, which is part 1, is going to be about mana, and part 2 is going to be about Aether, since otherwise it would be like too long. Before we start, subscribe and like and comment below what else you want me to cover. Mana is described to be energy source similar to Ki, which is able to strengthen your body and weapons, but unlike Ki, which existed in only individual people, mana exists all around the world. Mana is mostly genetic and around 1 of the 100 children have it. Mages usually awaken their core around 12 to 13 years old. Mana core is similar to Ki Center in the previous world where Grey lived. To awaken mana core, you have to move tens of thousands of fragments of mana near the solar plexus, which usually takes years, but for someone like Arthur it only took like 2 years. Mana core is just another organ like heart or lungs. Your strength is based on the color of your mana core. Mana core starts as black. In order from weakest to strongest stage goes black, red, orange, yellow, silver and white. Each stage splits into 3 levels: dark, solid and light. The lighter the core is, the more purer it is, and the more purer it is, the stronger it is. There is a state above white core called the integration stage, which is a new level of magical understanding that even Asura, who are beings closest to gods, don't achieve. Cecilia describes integration stage as being one with mana and all the elements affected and transform her body passively, and is exponentially stronger than even white core. Two most common ways to use mana is augmenting and conjuring. Augmenters enhance their bodies with mana, while their weakness is having limited range. Conjurers emit mana to the outside world while having to use outside mana to the core to form spells. There also exist emitters like Arthur's mom who are able to heal. Rhenia is a deviant just like Arthur's mom, which doesn't fall into category of any of the 4 elements. Diviner's powers varies from mage to mage, and for example, Rhenia has clairvoyance and can see past and future. You can condense mana to make it explode like fire. There exist 4 basic elements, which are fire, wind, water and earth, and their higher forms, which are lightning, ice, gravity and sound. Mages who are able to control the higher forms are called deviants. There is a difference between the 3 races of elves, dwarves and humans, how these elemental affinities apply to them. Dwarves can use earth and fire. As for their higher affinity, they can go from earth to metal, and some of them that are really talented are able to conjure magma via earth and fire. Elves are limited to water, wind and earth, but much higher affinity than humans. Elves are able to produce deviants of sound with those who possess wind affinity, and in rare cases some elves are able to manipulate plants from earth and water affinities. As for humans, they're able to produce mages of all 4 basic affinities and all their deviants as well as emitters. There is similarity between stances of Ki and mana affinities. You can control internal and ambient mana to perform a certain affinity. There also exist internal and external lightning magic. External is something most fire deviants are able to perform, but internal one is something like Thunderclap Impulse Arthur develops, and later Byron is able to use it as well. But we also see some ascenders in Alakria able to use it. Conjurers have more developed mana veins, which are responsible for absorbing ambient mana and sending it to the core, while augmenters have more developed mana channels, which are responsible for distribution of mana from the core to the parts of the mage's body. But because how much more efficiently conjurers are able to absorb mana around them, they're able to ascend to higher stages faster. But as both types ascend to a higher stage, the difference becomes less apparent. Water affinity has advantage over fire affinity, which has advantage over ice affinity. Compared to wind, trying to manipulate air itself would take much higher insight, chanting, and concentration, which is why almost nobody does it to suck out air from somebody. But we have seen Arthur able to create a vacuum around his head. Best way to use mana from the atmosphere is to absorb it into your core, where it can be condensed and purified for the use of spells. Spell formations are conjuring and or altering of basic spells or skills to achieve a different effect. The reason why some mages don't chant while others do is partially because they master the spell, but also mages chant because their words influence the consciousness, which fills caster's mind with correct suggestion that molds mana into a desired spell. We also learn that measuring somebody's overall combat ability by just the stage of their mana core is flawed, as it doesn't account for anything else that makes up a mage, like reaction time, battle sense, battle IQ, knowledge on spells, and so on. It is also possible to overexert your mana core, which usually is present with some sort of external source that boosts your core. Mana beasts are creatures that are also able to form their own mana core, also known as beast core, and after they die, you can use their core as a source of mana to absorb, or in some cases to inherit their will. They are split in different classes, from class E to D to B to A to AA to S and to SS. To give an example, Elderwood Guardian that Arthur fought during Adventurous Arc during Volume 2 is S-class Mana Beast. Mana Beasts of class A or higher can pass their will to somebody else. Beast Tamer is someone that conquered the beast will inside of him. Some beast wills are so potent it can destroy your body from inside out, like it almost happened with Arthur. As a beast tamer, for 3 years, Arthur has been fusing his bones, muscles, and organs with mana, which will result in stronger physical body to become a beast tamer, which is also the reason why beast tamers are usually just like physically superior. Beast tamers are mages capable of harnessing ability to inherit mana beast's will. There are 2 stages beast tamer is able to use. First is acquire phase, where the beast tamer can borrow beast's inherent strength. But with the second stage, inherit phase, beast tamer is able to use said beast's special abilities. Compatibility of beast will and user's affinities is also important. Spell forms, also known as runes, were originally used by the Jinn to influence Aether to produce different effects. Agrona used insight of runes to create his own version of it, like marks, crests, emblems, and regalias, which were simplified mana adaptations of the etheric runes. Awakening process in Alakria is ceremony that enables children to unlock their first mark and become mages. Crest is stronger than a mark, and it symbolizes greater understanding of a specific route of magic mark enables you to utilize. After crests, then there is emblems and regalias. Now to just touch on the difference between Asuras and all the Lessers, as how and what mana they utilize is a bit different. The reason why Asura are innately so strong is because their bodies are reliant on mana to operate. Just as human body needs oxygen and blood, Asuran body needs mana. Compared to Asuras like dragons, who can freely use Aether, ancient mages and all the Lessers are not physically strong enough to handle Aether. Asuran body is physically superior to any Lesser and has different structure of mana core, veins, and channels. As Asura grow in power, their core grows as well. The longer they live, the more they grow in potency and strength. Growth of magical powers of the Asura surpass their physical forms, and unlike the Jinn who used the runes when this happened to them, Asuras sought new forms and they became those different races we know today. Asuras are divided into different races and clans. Not every race has only one clan, but only 8 of them are part of the Great Eight. Races of the Asuras are as follows: Dragon race, Indra clan; Basilisk race, Vritra clan; Pantheon race, Theastis clan; Phoenix race, Avingis clan, which is a successor to Asclepius clan; Titan race, Grundus clan; Hamadryad race, Mapelia clan; Leviathan race, Aclea clan; and Sylph race, Arid clan. Dragon race can use all elemental affinities. Dragon race can also use Creation type Manart, because they are the only ones that can use Aether. Basilisks can use Decay type Manart. Decay type Manarts we've seen go from plant magic to toxic gas to metal spikes to soul fire to void wind to lightning deviant variant of decay to black light to cursed mist to illusions to reanimation to even memory manipulation and body possession, which only really Agrona used. Pantheons are able to use Force type Manards. Pantheons use World Eater and Mirage Walk technique. Phoenix race has some understanding of rebirth and reincarnation and life, and in all its facets that make it up, as their Manards. Some Phoenix have learned how to control their own rebirth by guiding their soul into a new form, and all tales describe as reincarnation of body, mind, and spirit as it was before. Phoenix worms had the ability to protect themselves with mana shell, and if it would break, they would be transported to the safest location they know. Titans supposedly understand life the most, but Agrona thinks they only understand creation type Manards. Vran, who is of Titan race, we see create thousands of rock golems. As for the rest of the races of Asuras, we do not know about their own specific Manards as of the moment when this video is made. These are just the most important parts of the mana of the power system. If you want me to go in depth to any of this I explained, let me know in the comments, and in the next part I'm gonna go over Aether, so like, subscribe and comment, and see you in the next part.